Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Memento deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an extremely cool deck based on a bunch of old school vanilla monsters turned into Memento monsters, which is absolutely insane. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name screen a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing a single copy of our boss monster, Combined Creation. This card is an insane boss monster that comes out with 5,000 attack points and 5,000 defense points, being one of only a few monsters in the game that have that stat. It cannot be normal summon or set, it must be special summon from your hand or graveyard by shuffling 5 other Memento monsters with different names from your hand or graveyard into the deck or the extra deck, which is actually pretty easy to do in this deck. It also has the ability, while you control no other monsters, this card can attack all monsters that your opponent controls once each, making it super easy to OTK your opponent with this card. And also, once per turn, if your opponent activates a card or effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon a Memento monster from your hand or grave, helping you swarm the board. We then play a single copy of Horned Dragon. This card is an amazing card and is actually a retrain of Tri-Horned Dragon, which is why I love this deck so much. And definitely comment down below what card you would actually like to see turn into a Memento monster, because they're all based on old school vanilla monsters. This card is really good because it's actually a great boss monster for the deck that you can easily summon to your side of the field, because if you have 3 or more Memento monsters with different names in your graveyard, you can actually special summon this card from your hand. And it also has the ability, if this card on the field is destroyed by card effect, you can target 3 face-up cards on the field, including a Memento card that you control, and destroy them, which is great to be able to pop 3 on the field. We then play 3 copies of the Seahorse. This card is really good as a 3-of in the build because it's a great extender. It has the ability, if you do not control any face-up monsters other than Memento monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. And during your main phase, you can destroy 1 Memento monster that you control and send any number of Memento monsters with different names from your deck to the graveyard, whose level total equals less than or equal to the destroyed monster's original level, which is a really good effect just to be able to get your Memento monsters in the graveyard, and Tatsuno is just so good for that effect. We then play 3 copies of Dark Blade. Dark Blade is really cool. I absolutely love the artwork for this card, but it's really good for the deck as well. Because if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually discard a Memento card and then target a spell or trap that your opponent controls and destroy it. And during your main phase, you can destroy 1 Memento monster you control, and if you do, special summon a level 3 or lower Memento monster from your deck, which is a great ability. We then play 3 copies of Memento Witch. This card is a definite 3-of in the deck. It's one of the most powerful cards in the entire build. If this card is normal or special summon, you can actually add a Memento monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of Ange Witch, which is such a cool ability about this card. This card is basically the Stratos of the deck. It also has the ability you can target a level 2 or lower Memento monster in your graveyard, destroy a Memento monster that you control, and if you do, special summon the targeted monster, which is a really cool ability. We then play 3 copies of Memento Mace. Mace is really cool as a 3-of in the build because during your main phase, if you control the Combined Creation, then quick effect you can discard this card and target a face-up monster opponent controls and take control of it until the end phase, which is such a powerful effect for this card to have. And also during your main phase, you can destroy 1 Memento monster you control, and if you do, add a Memento card from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, which is great to be able to search out the exact card that you need off of Mace. We then play 2 copies of Goblin. Goblin is a really cool card in the deck, but I feel like you only need 2 copies of this card, and I almost played a single copy in the build, but it's really good in this build as a 2-of. Because during the main phase, if you control a Memento copy of your Combined Creation, then quick effect you can discard this card, and for the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot target Memento monsters you control with card effects. And during your main phase, you can destroy a Memento monster you control, and if you do, send 2 Memento cards with different names from each other from your deck to the graveyard, which is a pretty good effect to help you get more cards in the graveyard, so you can summon out Combined Creation. We then finally play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is just a fantastic hand trap overall to stop your opponent from touching the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, guys, we're going to start with a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is an amazing one-of in the deck because Mementos have a really powerful field spell that we can search with this card. We then play a single copy of Called by the Grave. This card is very fitting in the deck, but it's great in this build to just stop your opponent from hand trapping you while you're going in for all of your plays. We then play 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talents. This card is great as a 2-of in the deck to either let you draw 2, take control of an opponent's monster, or look at your opponent's hand and shuffle a card from their hand back in the deck, which is just really good to get rid of a hand trap that they might have. We then play 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. The extract is very toolbox, which is why we play this card as a 3-of in the deck, because you don't need everything in your extract, but it's really helpful to dig into the deck to get the exact cards that you need. We then play 3 copies of Bone Party. Bone Party is a definite 3-of in the deck, and I absolutely love the artwork for this card. And it's able that you could destroy a Memento monster in your hand or face up from field to actually take a Memento monster from your deck with a different name and either add it to your hand or special summon it in defense position, which is such a cool ability. It also has the ability during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard and then actually target a Memento monster you control, and if it attacks a defense position monster this turn, it inflicts piercing damage to your opponent, which is a really cool effect. We then play 3 copies of the Memento Field Spell. This card is actually really good as a 3-of in the build because if your Memento monster battles an opponent, cannot activate any spells or trap cards until the end of the damage step, and if a monster you control is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can target one of those monsters and special Memento monster with a lower level from your hand or graveyard, and you can only effect this card once per turn, and once per turn during your end phase, you can actually target a Memento spell in the graveyard and set it back to your side of the field to grab one of your spells or traps back out of the grave and just set it with this card's ability, which is just really good that you get to do that during the end phase to be able to target a Memento spell or trap in the grave and set it back to your field, because we have some really powerful cards like Bone Party that we can actually put on the field. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, guys, we're going to start with a single copy of Fracture Dance. Fracture Dance is a great 1-of in the build because this card helps out so much because if you control a Memento monster, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. And if you control a copy of Combined Creation, you can destroy 1 more card on the field, which is so cool about this card that if you control your copy of Combined Creation, you get to pop 2 cards on the field. And when an attack is declared involving your Memento monster and an opponent's monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard and all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 1,000 attack until the end of the turn, which is great because our copy of Combined Creation can attack all our monsters or all our opponent's monsters that they control. It was the only monster that we control, which is so cool because this card helps you OTK your opponent that much easier. We then play a single copy of Cranium Burst. This card is really good and basically turns our copy of Combined Creation into an absolutely insane boss monster, just like the artwork. As the ability that while you control a Memento monster, your opponent's monsters that can attack must attack the Memento monster you control with the highest attack, their choice if it's a tie. And when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, except during the damage step, you can actually target a copy of Combined Creation you control and it loses exactly 1,000 attack and defense points, and if it does, negate the activation of that effect, and you can only activate this effect of this card once per chain, which is absolutely insane. I love that you can activate this card once per chain. It's just such a powerful card in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is a definite 3-of in the deck just to be able to use with our copy of Ash Blossom as another hand trap to be able to stop your opponent's monster effects. We then play 3 copies of There Can Be Only One. There Can Be Only One is definitely a 3-of in the deck because this card does nothing to us and it really hurts the opponent, which is why we play this card as a 3-of in the build because it usually just stops your opponent in their tracks, where we're going to be summoning a bunch of different types of monsters, which is just really cool. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start off with a single copy of Underworld Goddess. The extra deck is very toolbox, so you can play basically any link monsters that you want to be able to summon out from your extra deck, and Underworld Goddess is a great generic card to basically kaiju your opponent, but we get to keep the kaiju. We then play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code is great as a 1-of in the build just to pop cards on the field, plus it comes out absolutely massive. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn to spin stuff, 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps, 1 copy of SP Little Knight, because this card is basically a double interruption, but if you don't have SP Little Knight and you want to play this deck, you can change it out for like a Nightmare Cerberus for a more budget option for you guys, which is totally fine for this deck. But this card is good if you have it. If you don't, play Nightmare Cerberus. We then play a single copy of Donner. Donner is really good because it helps you pop cards on the field, which is just really, really nice. We then play a single copy of Azalea. Azalea is awesome in this deck because it's very easy to be able to make in this build, and it also helps you just deal with cards on the field, which is why I love this card as a one-of in the deck. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena, so we can go for a copy of SP Little Knight, Underworld Goddess, or Nightmare Unicorn during the opponent's turn. One copy of Linkuriboh, because we do have a lot of level 1s in the deck. One copy of Relinquished Anima, just in case our opponent is not playing around it, we can basically eat a monster our opponent controls, which is really cool. One copy of Assembled Nightingale, because it helps us make Zeus. One copy of Downer Magician, because it makes a bigger Zeus. One copy of Zeus, because Zeus is Zeus, and it pops field, which is just really, really good. One copy of Typhon, because Typhon is so easy to make in just about any deck. You don't even need to play Xyz to make this card, which is just absolutely insane. And finally, a single copy of Chaos Angel. If you don't have Chaos Angel, another budget option for you guys would be any other Link monster that you want to play, like a Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax, or even Apollosa would be another budget option that you could play instead of Chaos Angel. I just play this card because it's super easy to make in this deck, especially being able to use light and dark to be able to make it is just ridiculously easy. And your opponent is never going to see the Chaos Angel coming, basically just making a really crazy balls monster to back up combined creation. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is absolutely insane. If you guys have not played Memento yet, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's really fun to be able to play, and it's absolutely crazy the power level of your copy of Combined Creation and how easy it is to put on your side of the field. So that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of Notification Squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.